If you're looking to build a brand new home, then this video is for you. We'll be discussing the latest design trends and what people are building in their brand new homes. Some of these ideas might surprise you, so let's get started. Justin and John, it's so great to have both of you here. You're helping hundreds of clients design homes all the time. What would you say are one of the top design trends that you're seeing?
Yeah, in the recent times, there's been a big shift from people moving from the big city to rural or to the country area. People are realizing they can work from home remotely with the use of the internet and realize they don't have to be in the office every day. So they'd rather get out of the big city, move to the safer country. So a lot of people like to be in control of their life, and a part of that is owning their own property. So I have a lot of clientele that are purchasing lake properties right now, and being able to have the access to tens and thousands of acres of waterfront right out their back door is amazing. You know, having their boat right there, having their kayak, being able to fish after work, you know, just being able to walk out their back door and enjoy the outdoors is pretty amazing.
Aside from lake properties, what other type of properties are people building on?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of customers right now buying larger pieces of land. Whether they're using that land to then come back and create ATV, side-by-side, four-wheel, or mountain bike trails, snowmobile trails. You know, they're really creating that private oasis, if you will, where they can go out there with their family, maybe extended family members even, and not even have to leave their property. You know, they can go hiking, mountain biking, they can ride the four-wheelers or the side-by-sides, they can go snowmobiling, snowshoeing, all right there on their own property, and not have to actually go looking for the trails somewhere else.
You mentioned trails, even horse trails. We've had clients build horse stables.
Sure, yeah, horse trails, horse stables, like you said. You got enough land. You know, a lot of people like to spread their wings out there, and they might even be pilots where they have their own little private airstrip. We've seen that in the past. So yeah, a lot of stuff they can do with when they get the larger pieces of land. That's becoming very popular.
But a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff indoors as well. So they're creating big entertaining spaces. Will you guys touch on some of the entertaining spaces that you're seeing? I'd say that's a pretty big trend that we're seeing happening
Yeah,
now.
for sure. The great use of cabinetry and maybe some bar areas, you know, opening up to big movie areas, you know, so you can watch the game this weekend, or maybe snuggle up to a movie with the kids at night. Golf simulators. I've had a few clients put in golf simulators, you know, and that it's not just for golf. You know, they're using that TV screen then for March Madness or the big game that weekend. A bar area or an entertaining area for guests, for clients when they come over.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple people incorporate wine cellars. A lot of neat things you can do with those spaces if that's what you're trying to, you know, get that gather spot, that hangout spot at home.
Yeah, you can really bring a rustic feel into that. I think that's what a lot of people do. Is, you know, the custom pine tops that we offer, you know, the live edges on them really brings the theme of that house into that entertaining space as well.
Not only are those entertaining spaces generally being prioritized in a finished lower level, but we're also seeing people expanding outdoors as well. So our very popular pool pub plan, that's actually a separate building that the clients added on at a later date. And it's centered around hosting. They've got the pool right outside, a beautiful custom bar area on the inside there. And it is geared up toward watching the big game or just having everyone over for a family event or a party. But yeah, that's really special. And you don't have to necessarily do anything that elaborate as well. There are plenty of people that are also interested in screen porch areas, which is really just a place for everyone to come together at the end of the day.
Right. Outdoor fireplaces, that's a big one too. I've seen a lot of clients do recently. It's usually placed on the great room gable end side of that house and used for entertaining. You know, maybe roasting marshmallows, cooking hot dogs, whatever it may be.
Some customers don't necessarily want to put up a separate structure, but they still like to put up like a pavilion area, and they can incorporate a lot of stone that maybe was used on the home on that pavilion, still create that really great outdoor atmosphere. We've had customers put, you know, TVs, outdoor fireplaces in those areas, and that's a really cool way to incorporate some of the textures from the home outside, ties it together, but without actually putting up a whole separate structure.
You mentioned a lot of clients building on lakes, matching the boathouse to the home itself, or even those who have a lot of motorcycles, you know, building a separate building for all the motorcycles, or whether it's just a separate garage if you're a crafty person. Sure. But really tying in these separate structures. And it's really about just reflecting your lifestyle. What do you like to work on? So these are all really great ideas. What would you say is another trend that we're seeing?
Well, touching on the garage space, a popular thing we're starting to see now is maybe you don't have the land space for a separate building, or you don't want to put up a separate building. Those under garages, make use of a spancrete type system in the main garage, and then you can basically double your square footage of your garage by creating a lower level garage.
On that Timber Lake, where it was the home between two lakes, they did the spancrete with the garage below the garage, and they're using it for side-by-sides and motorcycles. I've seen a lot of clients also use that for a garage workout space. So they bring in all of their big workout equipment. That way you can have the music as loud as you want, and nobody else in the house is going to hear you because you've got concrete on all four walls, your ceiling, and the floor.
Yeah, I've even seen a client take that space, it's a big, long space, and actually use that for an archery range or target practice. So again, totally encapsulated in concrete, keeps the noise down. Yeah, good use of space for that.
And John, didn't you have a client recently who used that space and they did acoustic soundproofing, and they actually had it all set up for a home theater?
Correct. Yeah. It's dark in there. You don't have the windows and stuff, so works perfect for what they were trying to accomplish, which was that in home theater system. Create that area there. So.
And then when you're using these lower level spaces for entertaining, it really is a popular idea to also use an elevator. That way, any of your guests can come over and use it. And also, if this is going to be a retirement home, a home that you'll be in for the next 30, 40 years, you want to make sure you can also use it into whether it's old age or unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, and I'm actually working with a customer right now that they're a younger, vibrant customer. They're active. They don't need the elevator right now, but they're actually designing closet spaces where when they want to incorporate the elevator down the road, the floor is going to be already cut out for it. So all they have to do is remove those walls and install the elevator, and they're done.
There were clients that were just in here the other week, and they're going to let us do a dirt to done feature where we'll be doing the whole video series on their home. And they were mentioning they're going to do an elevator, not because, well, of course, accessibility, yes, but they were more thinking about moving furniture from the main level down to the lower level. To them, it was really more of a convenience feature for them.
Right. Yeah, I've got a client right now. We're designing some lifts in the garage, to store items above that garage, and also to bring stuff from the garage down to the lower level. So when they bring groceries, drinks, or whatever it was he was talking about, he could load it right onto the lift, right down to that lower level, and he doesn't have to walk him down the stairs. So.
I think something that's really special is how we're able to use these extra spaces like a lower level and make it feel like it's the rest of the home. I mean, just think of how many traditional homes you've seen in the past where they never do anything with the basement. But then look at our homes, and you can see that there may be a lot of timbers upstairs. There are just as many in that finished lower level area too. With a 10-foot high ceiling down there, it really feels like it's just an extension of the upstairs. So, I mean, John, you're doing floor plans all the time. How common would you say it is to utilize timbers in the floor plan?
Timbers are getting so popular. Not just with the timber style home, but I'm seeing a lot of customers using it with the log style as well. So they're still using round logs and incorporating timbers. Everybody is really drawn to those timber trusses in the great room. A lot of people like that. Like you mentioned, even in a basement where it's a flat ceiling, we can still really dress up that space by using some nice timber posts, some timbers, flat timbers, different sizes, gives you a little different depth to when it's just a flat ceiling.
Right. I got a customer right now. He just asked me, hey, how can I incorporate more timbers in my house? Talk to your design team. I need more timbers in my house. So we got a great design team that'll help you find those places for those timbers. It could be, like you said, a vaulted ceiling, a flat ceiling. And there's a lot of different things you can do with those timbers. They could be smooth. They could be hand hewn. They could be stained a dark color. They could be painted a white color. So you're not locked into any certain feature. Tell us what you want, and we can incorporate it into your house. Yeah.
I mean, you just take a simple bar layout in a basement, adding some timbers, whether it's just around the edges of that bar, whether it's up in the ceiling to create like a separate little roof over that bar. I mean, it just really transforms from just a simple bar to a focal point.
So like you mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be on a vaulted ceiling or a flat ceiling. It could be a vertical post. It could be on the outside corner of your house, on the inside. It could be a mantle that's hand hewn, the face of it's hand hewn, or shelving in your bar area. So yeah, we can incorporate in just about any room in that house.
The timbers with the stairs too. You know, you could really start working in your newel posts, your rails, the treads themselves. You know, it kind of starts to bring the whole home together when you start incorporating all those different aspects and items in there.
What I really like and what I think makes it easy for everyone else is if the client tells us that they want a timber package, we then get an idea on to what degree do you want timbers in your package. We have our traditional exposed beam timber, but also our ultra custom timber. And all of them have default specs on them. So you don't have to go through every single detail on how big of a baseboard trim do you want, how big of trim do you want around the windows. We're already gonna automatically figure in the really cool stuff, the stuff that's really popular, the stuff that you're seeing in the photo albums. So it really, I think, takes what will eventually be a spectacular and unique room, and it starts off with that as a default. The client doesn't have to think through all of these decisions.
Right, yeah, we've been doing this a long time. We know how to incorporate these beams and trim work into your house. So yeah, we set those specifications, and you can certainly change them, swap them out. You know, the complexity of the trusses is a big one. Some people like a more simplified truss. Some people want a really ornate truss with the pegging involved. So it's really up to the client and their expectations.
And we could do nearly any truss style that you've seen out there, right? So like in the Timberlake home, you see these beautiful barrel trusses in there. And it was really up to the client how many trusses that they wanted, what style of truss, but also all that webbing that's in between the trusses as well. They decided whether they wanted that or not. And I actually remember back when they were designing that ceiling, they were a little unsure really how many timbers they wanted. So they opted into our 3D rendering services, and we got them actually an image of what that's all gonna look like. You know, that to me seems like it's a popular trend as well. We do it all the time with cabinetry, and with these timber homes, we're doing that as a default too, right?
It helps the client visualize that home, how it's gonna come together, especially, you know, with some of the valleys that may be coming into the roof. You know, you got a couple different roof planes coming together. It really helps you see what's going on with those trusses, because some of those trusses may change shape as you move through that valley. So the rendering service is going to certainly help you see that a lot better and catch some of those things that you may not see while construction is going on. So yeah, we do offer that service with our timber homes. It's either one or two renderings, just whatever helps you visualize that home.
I think that's so important because a lot of people have a hard time visualizing spaces, and it's just very typical.
Another great thing with the trusses that I think we kind of miss too is it's not just on the inside. I've seen a lot of customers doing them on the outside, up in the gable ends. Really easy way to dress up the curb appeal of a home.
Yep, definitely the angle brackets or decorative brackets on those covered porch posts. Very easy way to add a ton of curb appeal to that front porch.
I think our timber accent home is a very good example of how you can take these timbers and incorporate them into a more subdivision-friendly style of a home where it's a maintenance-free siding on the exterior, and then you have the beautiful timber posts and the turkey track trusses up above. So other than that, we don't see a lot of timbers on the exterior of that home. Whereas then you can look at our other floor plans, and it is clearly a timber home throughout. I mean, you can see it on the exterior. You have timber rafter trusses supporting the covered porch area, as well as accents over the garage doors. And then of course the big structural trusses up above in the gables. So one of the first things that you mentioned was people are building on a lot of land. And when you're moving out of the city, you can now incorporate spaces where the dog can come and go as they please. They actually have these dedicated spaces where the dog can, like in my house, the dog exits the house, goes out onto boulders, and the boulders are actually built into the whole landscaping of that area. Actually, you guys, I've got 2 dogs at home now, and when I'm gone here at work for the day, I can actually, I don't know if we need to get into this, but the truth is, it was like 10 degrees outside yesterday, and I look out on the security camera, they're hanging out on those boulders, just out there like Simba in The Lion King.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Since we shot the video series on my house, I've actually added a fenced-in area. And it just keeps the dogs really conveniently located where they're not running around the property and stuff like that, but they have access to that space all day. I think it's just nice to know that it doesn't have to be an eyesore. You know, you can really make it a feature on the home. Speaking of convenience, home offices. And that has got to be one of the biggest trends that we're seeing. A lot of people like the convenience of being able to, whether they're working just a couple days at home away from the office or they're dedicated to a home office, a lot of people are saying, I want a space just for all my paperwork. And they have the computer set up, they're away from the kids, they're keeping the dogs out. But
Well, that's definitely a benefit of building in a home. You know, we can design those spaces in your home. And the beauty of designing it into your new home is that we can plan for the future as well. So if we need to put some conduit in the walls or the floor system, you can plan for future technologies and swap out cables. You know, really you can have all the conveniences that you had in your office building at your home.
Although using the lower level basement would be a great opportunity for an office space, we have also found that clients are dedicating a wing of the home. Just like we were just on site filming a video actually, and they have a beautiful feature wall in that office that lets in a ton of natural light.
I mean, people are spending a lot of time in their office. They certainly want a nice view. You know, they want that corner office at home.
Yep, exactly. And that's why you bought that special piece of property to begin with. It's really great having both of you here today. I really find it interesting to hear what the latest home trends are. Leave us a comment below. What home trends will you be adopting on your brand new floor plan design? Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and there are a lot more videos to watch with a lot of great ideas. Thanks for following along.